so proudly we hailed, and the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the frame, and the home of the brave.
Don't be afraid, this is a low fat, and you are listening to HonestAnswerRadio.com. Now, where is the egg roll you guys promised me?
The views and opinions expressed on the Honest Answer Radio show are the opinions of Honest Answer Media and no one else. If you're hearing a syndicated broadcast of this show, don't hold it against the broadcaster. Rather, congratulate them on their openness, tolerance, and respect for the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Thank you very much.
You don't have to get high to get happy. Think about what's in store. When people start doing what they ought to be doing, then we won't be doing no more. When the president goes through the White House door, does what he says he'll do, we'll all be drinking free bubble up, eating some rainbow stew. Eating rainbow stew in a silver spoon underneath that sky blue. We'll all be drinking some free bubble up, eating a rainbow stew.
Hey, welcome one more time to Honest Answer Radio here on HonestAnswerRadio.com, where we're kicking the mainstream media in the teeth. If this is your first time listening to us, I'm going to be the Marty half of your, well, something like dynamic hosting duo this fine Tuesday evening.
And for the Tuesday evening edition of Honest Answer Radio, I will be the Casey half. And I'm glad you didn't say that we was going to be dynamic tonight, because I don't mind admitting the time change has kicked my butt. It seems like every year as I get older, it's harder and harder for me to reset my biological clock.
Oh man, I'm dragging. I like fall so much more because you at least get to do you get a do-over of an hour. So in case you really screwed up, between 2 and 3 o'clock, you get to do it over again.
Right.
And you get that whole extra hour of sleep. But in the spring, where they snatch an hour out from under you,
like a rug.
Man, it takes a while to actually get back into the sync of things, man. Sunday morning at church, and I'm sorry that some of the people that go to our church are going to hear this. It wasn't the preacher's message. Not at all. But Sunday morning when I was sitting there in church, man, my eyes were burning. I wanted to go back to sleep so bad I couldn't stand it. And the preacher was doing good, man. He was on fire.
Brian, if you're listening, just remember this. He's claiming it wasn't you, man, but,
It wasn't this time. It's like the girls used to tell me in high school, it's not you, it's me. Well, dude, you know how at the beginning of the show we always say we're kicking the mainstream media in the teeth? You may find this hard to believe, but I have a bone to pick with the press today.
I have nothing but a foot to kick them in the teeth with today.
I got a little bone to pick for a couple of reasons. One, I only have 2 pieces of audio to bring to folks today. And you know why? Because it brings us to the other reason.
Well, we would have had 3, okay, if another website had posted there, gotten it up in time, which would have tied into one of the things we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you about that when we get there.
But, dude, you know what has been on the news today?
Yeah, CNN all day long has been talking about that Malaysian 777
Which is
that has
horrible.
disappeared.
It's
there's
horrible.
200 and some people on there that have
Absolutely.
disappeared into thin air.
But so has NBC. So has MSNBC. That's been there. That's been a huge chunk of their focus.
basically all day
The
long.
Bachelor, last night's Bachelor finale, which I don't watch this show. You don't watch this show. My wife doesn't watch this show. Nobody I know with any common sense and decency watches this show.
I don't know anybody that does. In all honesty, I don't.
But its finale was on last night, apparently. 3 hours. I was watching The Five a while ago, and Eric Bowling said his wife made him sit through 3 hours of The Bachelor last night. And the big deal was the dude would not propose to the girl, and he wouldn't say that he loved her. So for some strange reason, that has also dominated the news feeds today.
Do you know why?
Um,
Do you know why
I got a pretty good idea.
MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, why they're rolling in that coverage? It's because they can cover that instead of the Senate's little pajama party last night, the Democrats' little climate
Their
change
little all-nighter.
pajama
Oh, hey, that
pajama
wasn't the only
party.
thing. That wasn't the only thing, though. Have you seen this? And they've been playing this ding-blasted skit that the president did for that website, Funny or Die. They've been playing it on the news
Well,
all day long.
the thing is, I hate to put it this way, but in that case, it died. Because I tried to watch the skit.
I couldn't
I
sit through
tried.
all of it.
I didn't make it through all of it, man. Honestly.
It was painful to watch.
And, you know, I haven't seen any of those movies, any of those hangover movies that Zach dude has been on.
I've seen a few of Zach Galifianakis' movies,
but-
and he's ordinarily a funny guy.
What happened?
I think it was who he had to work with there. The president is not a funny guy. Now, there was a couple of zingers in that interview that I thought was funny, like when he asked him, how does it feel to be the last black president? And the president answered him with something to the effect of, how does it feel to have your last interview with a president? Now, I know that this was all written out, but I think that the president's answer to that was genuine. I think that one kind of...
There was some real heat.
Yeah, I think he got a little torqued off about that question. And when it was all to bolster Obamacare and to drive people to healthcare.gov. That was the whole reason for this little skit. And they've been playing it all day just because 19,000 people went to healthcare.gov today after watching that skit.
19,000 people.
19. That's what they say. 19,000 people
That's
as a result
pathetic.
of that skit. Well, it is pathetic.
That's pathetic.
It's as equally as pathetic as they're falling well short of that 7 million sign-up mark. They're at like, what was it, 4.5 million?
Something like that.
Somewhere around in there. That's why they're focusing on this skit and on this airplane and on The Bachelor, because they don't want to have to focus on the fact that 19,000 number
It's pathetic.
is pathetic. It's really
It's
pathetic.
It's pathetic.
They don't want to focus on the president's failures. They don't want to focus on how weak he is with what's happening over there in the Ukraine. They don't want to focus on Lois Lerner pleading the fifth yet again.
And the
in the
fact
IRS.
that the Republicans the House Oversight Committee put out their report.
Their scathing report.
Yeah, of the IRS.
They don't want to focus on the abysmal job numbers in this country.
Or the fact that Dianne Feinstein and the CIA are having a little feud over some computers and the CIA is saying that the congressional staffer took some stuff from the CIA that they wasn't supposed to, and now Dianne Feinstein is saying that the CIA is doing some kind of overreach because they're investigating people in her staff. You know, I never thought I would say this because, you know, the CIA, they normally get a really bad rap.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it right now. I'm on their side on this one.
Well, now, my problem with it is, so it's perfectly all right for the NSA to collect data on every single American with a cell phone.
Right.
That's
okay. That's fine, yeah.
But if the CIA investigates a congressional staffer for allegedly getting their hands on something they wasn't supposed to, that is executive overreach. Because that is what Dianne Feinstein is ultimately alleging.
Yeah.
That the executive branch
is way overstepping their bounds on this. Because obviously, guess who? It must have been one of her staffers. You know, and she was talking about their personal computers. No. The CIA side of the story says no. See, those computers were provided by the CIA, and them and all their files were supposed to remain in that building because it was top secret info, the kind of stuff that they're supposed to let Congress and their staffers see, but nobody else is supposed to get to look at.
Don't that seem to you to be just even a little bit more entertaining than talking about The Bachelor, though?
Yeah, I mean...
wouldn't you have rather seen that on CNN today or MSNBC?
Even if MSNBC was taking the Democrat side of the story,
absolutely,
at least it would be talking about something that's actually relevant.
That pertains to I don't want to say the well-being, but it actually pertains to us as Americans, as opposed to whether or not this Yutz Juan Pablo dude, whatever his name is, don't want to say he loves a woman that he only met 5 weeks ago. You got to be kidding me, media! Come on now. Now I
will say we were
Fox
talking
News on the back about this.
No, but they've been talking about real stuff all day long.
All day long.
Okay, and the other thing, you know, when you go to the Drudge Report, when you go to the Blaze, when you go to National Review, PJ Media, Powerline, Breitbart, any of the the Right Scoop, any of the conservative media outlets that are out there that are, okay, granted they're internet sources, they're not quote unquote mainstream, thank God.
Well,
but you know, there have been issues, plenty of them.
Yeah.
You know, plenty of real stuff that actually has an impact. You know, last week Lois Lerner took the fifth, and this week, you know, the Oversight Committee, the House releases their report. Well, it's pretty darn scathing. Like was the word?
Granted, they didn't really say anything in this report like that even you and I haven't talked about.
No,
on
but
this show.
But they put it all together,
and it's in writing.
Yes,
it's in writing. It's an official report, and as a result of this report, some contempt charges against Lois Lerner, you know, may be in the future here. That would have been a great news story. I would have liked to have heard even the mainstream's take on the pajama party that happened last night in the Senate.
Well, I did get to catch that, and I'm glad you said that, because, you know, the third clip that we didn't get came on MSNBC. It was Barbara Boxer, but unfortunately, man, it got posted, or I didn't find it until right before the show started, so I couldn't get it yet. I couldn't get it in front of you. Well, it was the Chris Jansing, the Jansing report on MSNBC. So she let Barbara Boxer bloviate about this, and failed to call her out on. Well, let's just call it what it is. It's a lie. because Barbara Boxer was talking about, the Republicans don't want to, talk about how Superstorm Sandy is a product of all this global warming and climate change.
What?
In other words, it's crap that has already been debunked over and over and over again. The droughts in California,
Look, any weather-related phenomena that happens on the globe, they point to and say that is a direct result of man-made climate change.
Yes,
they don't want to say global warming anymore because
Chris Jansing let her get away with that 98%. 98% of scientists agree that the climate is changing.
That's an outright lie.
It's not. Probably, I bet you 100% of scientists, real scientists, will agree. Well, the climate's changing. It's been changing ever since the planet was created.
But they will not agree
that it's caused by man, that it's because of
CO2.
CO2
is the defining factor.
But see, either Chris Jansing is too dumb to know the difference, or too much of a water carrier to call her out and say, "Now wait a minute."
Or now wait. I would even go out on a limb and say 98% of the actual scientists that they talk to might be in agreement that it's caused by mankind.
You mean all three of them?
Well, yeah, there you go. And the reason that's only 98% is because, the third one's going...
buried deeply in the science part of the IPCC report from the UN, buried deeply in there, there's the mention that, by the way, that whole CO2 causing the atmosphere to warm up, well, it's not going like the models predicted. But,
And the fact that the planet, all right, let's just say that the planet has warmed up 1 degree. It's heated up 1 degree. Is it 1 or 2? Over the past 100 years. It's 1.
Well, it's actually something like 1.6.
Okay.
Depending,
let's
but it
just
depends.
Say 2 then. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say the planet has heated up 2 degrees. I just don't see how, 1, that falls on mankind's shoulders in its entirety, or 2, that it is somehow going to cause a global catastrophe where New York is underwater, California's fallen off the map, it's going to be Antarctic conditions in Florida. I just don't see.
If the climate has actually warmed up some, it's been good for Northern England because they've finally been able to produce wine there, which they haven't been able to do for about 100 years or so because it was so cold. Is this worth what has happened to Appalachia and the coal mining industry?
I just don't see how it could be. Which, you know what, dude, that brings us to a piece of audio. Now, I don't have all of it because he spoke for 10 minutes, but I do have an audio clip from yesterday from our Senator Jeff Sessions addressing this little pajama party issue. And at the end of his this clip, I think he really gets to what this is really all about. Take it away, Jeff.
Madam President, it's been reported that a number of our colleagues in the Democratic majority in the Senate intend to speak on the Senate floor tonight on the question of climate change. Sometimes they'll say global warming. I guess that's ceasing to be the number one phrase now. But an article in USA Today said this, quote, effort is cause for some confusion because these senators are calling for action in a chamber they control, but without any specific legislation to offer up for a vote. No legislation. This is indeed confusing. Why wouldn't the majority leader bring a bill to the floor of the Senate to expressly approve President Obama's climate agenda or to approve his rigorous regulations that constrict American energy. Why not? Well, the answer is it wouldn't pass. American people do not support this. Neither does the United States Congress. And a lot of his Democratic colleagues, I would suggest, don't want to vote on it. And it just raises a lot of questions about what the deal is here and what we need to do as a nation to handle pollution, carbon dioxide, and climate change, and how we need to deal with it and how we should think about it. There was an article in today's Washington Times by Mr. Triplett that pointed out that a few weeks ago in February, billionaire and major Democratic National Committee donor Tom Steyer held a dinner at his palatial San Francisco home for 70 of his closest friends. Former Vice President Al Gore was the headliner, and Senator Harry Reid, the Democratic leader, and 4 other Democratic senators were present. And he is pledged to give $50 million to a campaign to defeat mainly, I guess, Republicans because they don't agree with his global warming agenda.
Bingo. Bingo.
Where's the money?
He wanted to know, as did a lot of people that were, or at least the people over there on Fox News Channel today, because they were the only ones that really wanted to talk about this.
At least on the TV outlets, yeah.
Why would the United States Senate hold an all-night session on climate change and offer up nothing for a vote? Well, it's simple. Because Tom Steyer has said he will give $50 million of his own money
to help Democrats get reelected.
Yeah, but in order for them to get any of that money, they have to make climate change their number one issue on their agenda, and they have to be on record as speaking out about it and supporting this climate change legislation. And the best way that they could do that was to have their all-night grandstanding session. That way, everybody that wants to get in on that and get some of that money can be on record and go, look, Tom, you see, man, I spoke for 10 minutes. That was all the time they would give me, and I was on the Senate floor. Look at my YouTube. See my YouTube? Mm-hmm. See, that's me there.
See, it's got the little C-SPAN thing there in the corner, so you know it was real.
Yeah, that's me there saying that's going to be my number one issue. Now, there were 4 Democrats that didn't attend, and ironically enough, they happen to be in states that are
adversely affected by this climate change agenda,
Alaska,
like North Carolina, West Virginia,
Louisiana, and I think Mark Pryor there in Arkansas.
Yeah.
These are people that are up for re-election this year in
states where jobs have been lost because of the anti-coal, anti-fracking agenda of the Obama administration and the executive branch. Yeah. See, all this crap, this climate change crap, costs us all real money and causes real suffering on this planet. And I call it crap. And, I know that longtime listeners of the show know that I have a science background. But if you're new to the show, let me just tell you, I have a very strong science background. I've been a research assistant. And I know how to read scientific papers. I know how to look at data. And I can tell you that little hockey stick model, nobody that doesn't have a political agenda buys into that little hockey stick graph anymore that was talking about the planet was because hey, it's already been disproven. Al Gore said that by 2014 would be the end of snow.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell my friends in Minnesota that. Tell my friend that drives a truck up in North Dakota about that all that white stuff that he was having to drive on.
Even our friends down there at the Manson-Nixon line, like in Virginia.
Or hey, tell the what was all that white stuff back a few weeks ago out in our yard?
Down here in Alabama.
In Alabama.
This, by the way,
talk to Atlanta about the fact that we don't have snow anymore.
One of the coldest winters on record down here in the deep south.
Yeah.
Sorry, Al, that theory don't hold water. But what you were saying about it cause this climate change stuff does indeed cause real suffering, but not in the way that they say it is. The way that this is causing real suffering is it is causing people to lose their jobs due to all of these bullcrap pieces of legislation and regulations that the EPA are hammering people with.
And sometimes without even going through the proper process to do so. The EPA is in a little bit of hot water. I mean, look, this is the agency that had a guy working for them who we paid him as taxpayers. We paid this guy's salary for years and years. And the whole time he was working for the EPA, he was saying, look, I'm not really like a climate guy or an environment guy. I'm actually a spy. I work for the CIA. But this job is my cover story.
$6 million or something?
Oh, man, and vacations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was driving. So this is who that we're allowing to wreck our economy? An agency that doesn't even know who actually works for it and who doesn't?
The EPA. This
agency
that
whose
has taken people's land from them.
And whose director has been doing your business and my business on her personal email account to avoid oversight. Okay.
But I guess they're like the IRS, and there's not a smidgen of
not
corruption.
Not a smidgen of corruption, political influence, or a politically driven agenda. No.
They're claiming proven science.
The science is settled.
Yeah, and it's anything but. And if you disagree with any of their alleged science, you just as well be a flat earther.
A science denier.
Yeah. You just as well be one of those people that still believe.
Where the real science deniers are the global warming nut jobs.
Yeah.
The real science deniers are these quote-unquote climate change warriors out there.
And there's millions of people in this country that are eating this stuff up with a spoon. They say we're too blind to see the science, but the truth is they're too blind to see that these politicians are only using this whole man-made climate change thing to raise money.
Well, see, Barbara Boxer just came right out and said it, which is why I wish we could have, had time to get that audio clipped, because she said we need to put a dollar value on carbon credits.
Oh, yeah, so, Al Gore would love that.
Yes, he would. He's already made and gotten fantastically wealthy by being a science denier and accusing everybody else of being a science denier. And then turns around and sells current TV to a fossil fuel producing country.
Not just a fossil fuel producing country, but a
big oil.
Country, but also people who are fans of other of groups that wish to do the United States harm.
Yeah.
So,
to put it in a nutshell.
You'll have to forgive me if I'm not buying into this whole man-made climate change agenda.
Yeah, neither one of us was invited to that little pajama party, and I wanted to do a pillow fight.
Well, it
I
would've
wanted to
been
drink
fun.
hot chocolate and eat, junk food like people do at pajama parties and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't get an invite.
It would have been fun, but we had to miss out on it. I do have another piece of audio. I only had 2 tonight, but I do have, while we're talking about outrageous statements made by Democrat politicians.
But you repeat yourself.
Yeah, I've got another one, and I brought this tonight just because it's so darn funny. And I'm not even going to tell you who it is. Just listen.
I think we'll know.
Employment insurance, I asked a Republican friend why his party remained so opposed to extending the vital lifelines for struggling families and really hungry children. This colleague's response was telling in its blunt nature, and it's stunning in its honesty. What he said was, to the Republican caucus, these people you're talking about are invisible. And the Republican caucus is indifferent to them. Invisible and indifferent. This is just plain wrong. That is not the leadership the American people deserve, and it is up to us to demonstrate clearly how Democrats are different, that no American is invisible to us, and we will never be indifferent to their needs. We know and care about the needs of the American people.
Unless they're Christians.
Unless they're Christians, or unless they don't buy into man-made climate change, or unless they belong to a conservative organization, or unless they happen to live in a red state,
or if they donate to the Tea Party,
or they're a veteran. That was. Can you notice how Nancy always has these anecdotes?
Well, she pulled that one like Harry Reid pulled that accusation he made about Romney not ever paying taxes or not paying them for 10 years, Yeah. It's like, Nancy, you pulled that one out of your butt.
But she's always got this unnamed Republican colleague.
A friend. She called him a friend.
Oh, yeah, well, an unnamed Republican friend. And Nancy's got, first of all, Nancy Pelosi has friends? Or Nancy Pelosi has a Republican friend?
And well,
Who is this person?
The thing is it somebody in the Senate? Is it somebody in the House? Come on, Nancy.
And
name names. Tell us which Republican out there doesn't give a rip
about hungry kids.
Yeah, tell us, Nancy.
I would think that if she had knew any Republican that outright stated, we don't care about hungry children, she would be putting that person's name and face on billboards
and they'd
all
never
across the country.
They'd never win another election again, ever.
I mean, look, if a Republican, because on that same note, if a Republican could ever get a Democrat to say that out loud, you don't think it would be on Fox News and video and audio and everything?
And Breitbart would have it. We'd have it on our webpage.
Yeah, darn tootin' we would. But that's how they like to fight, though. I mean, you can just make these outlandish statements. I mean, my goodness, the president's been doing it ever since he got elected with the unemployment figure.
Look, there's so much straw man there. I mean, that room that Nancy was in is like a fire hazard. The fire marshal's going to shut what room she was in. The fire marshal's going to shut that down. There's too much combustible material in there.
Because as Democrats, we will always have the needs of the American people. Unlike our Republican colleagues
who hate America. They hate the poor. They hate the middle class. They hate everybody except the 0.1% with all the money.
Oh, my goodness. Nancy. But, she ain't the only Democrat that's come out with some pretty outlandish stuff over the weekend. I mentioned Mark Pryor's name a while ago. Mm-hmm. He was absent from the pajama party. But since he's up, got a little election fight of his own this year.
Tom Cotton is...
did you hear what he said about Tom Cotton?
Yeah. He's got a sense, because Tom Cotton is a veteran with honorable
a
service.
decorated veteran.
He feels entitled to a position as an elected official.
Yeah, just because, look, this is the way that Pryor was laying it out. Just because he served in the military, he has a sense of entitlement to belong in the United States Senate. Dude, well, I would like to ask Mark Pryor.
Why do you feel entitled to it there, buddy?
Where do you get your sense of entitlement? Exactly what have you done in the service of your country? Have you ever done anything in service to your country? Because if I had to take a guess, I would say not too much. Other than want to draw this really neat benefits package and lifetime salary thing.
And have a good parking spot in D.C.
And much better health care than the rest of the citizens in the country.
Yeah, much better than the rest of your fellow Arkansas people.
Man, the Democrats are going off the rails right now. They know that this election cycle right here, they are up against the ropes. They know that they're going to be beat over the head with Obamacare.
Yeah, look, all I got to say is, Tom Cotton, you go, boy. You've got him. If Mark Pryor has to come out with crap like that, you've got him sweating, brother.
Well, they
keep
have
pouring it on.
They have no answers for the Obamacare snafu. They have no answers for what happened in Benghazi. They have no answers for the unemployment conditions in this country.
Or Fast and Furious.
Or
the EPA scandals.
They have no... And the only other thing they can do is come up with these lame statements like Nancy made, that Republicans don't care about hungry kids, that Tom Cotton's got a sense of entitlement because he's a veteran.
You notice they couldn't say anything about his military service.
No.
They can't find or
his
where
stance
he's
on
got
the issues.
Yeah, well, Lord, no, come on, man, get real.
The only other thing they can do is make those idiotic statements, and then also try to make it look like the Republican Party is at war with each other, which, to a certain degree, there is a rift amongst the Republicans.
Right now, Rand Paul and Ted Cruz are slinging some hash back and forth
but
to
it's
each other.
not anything like
But who stands up? The thing is, okay, even on the Drudge Report, and a lot of the conservative outlets, they're blowing up this little. They're calling it a feud between Rand Paul
is all over
and Ted Cruz. Look, when either one of them has filibustered, the other one stood up and helped them. Okay, when it matters, they stand shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
But, if there's no difference between the two candidates, why would we want to vote for one of them over the other? Let them go ahead and hash their differences out. That's what Republicans, we're not afraid to do that.
No. All this really, it all comes down to, Ted Cruz's speech that he made at CPAC, where it has to do with foreign policy. He doesn't agree necessarily with Rand Paul's the way Rand Paul would approach, some of our foreign policy issues, where he's not really calling out Rand Paul by name, and he didn't really say anything all that bad. And Sean Hannity even tried to stir the pot. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, with Ann Coulter.
Well, also, he had Rand Paul on. And he kept going back to that over and over and over again. And I'm like, Hannity, what the heck are you doing here? You're helping the Democrats out with
first
this.
off, my big question, though, is why are we doing this now? We've got a Senate. We need to pick up some seats in the Senate. We need to pick up some more seats in the House. This is 2014, not 2016.
And you're helping the Democrats make it look like the Republicans can't even get along with each other.
Maybe it's strategy.
Strategy?
Yeah, it keeps the Democrats distracted, gives them something to do. Because do you really care? I mean, seriously, at this point, it's 2014, Marty. Do you really care?
No, I really don't.
I mean, because I don't either. If Rand Paul and Ted Cruz can't stand each other, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, if they're both diametrically opposed Republicans, look, either one of them beats the snot out of John McCain.
Well,
I mean, so do I care at this point? No, I don't
Well, I'll
care.
tell you what I
if
do
if
care
Hannity
about.
wants to stir the pot, fine. But I will tell you who is getting on my nerves.
Mitch McConnell.
Well, he gets on my nerves, but another conservative pundit is Ann Coulter.
Well, that's
Because she's feeding into this whole Mitch McConnell thing, trying to say, oh, Mitch is all right. He's a good Republican. He's a good conservative.
he's really a
And you
decent
said that
conservative.
about Chris Christie.
Yeah.
You said that about Mitt Romney.
And just over the weekend, Mitch McConnell makes this outlandish statement that they're going to crush
The Tea
the
Party.
Tea Party in every election this year.
So why don't you just throw the red flag down to everybody that considers himself a Tea Party voter there, Mitch?
Yeah, really. I mean, what is that about? You're calling yourself a conservative here, all right? You're a Republican that calls themselves a conservative. And you are attacking one of the largest conservative groups or movements in this country? And you are expecting...
He even said that the Senate Conservatives Fund is a sham.
Say that again a little bit louder.
Let me get my microphone up there. He even said the Senate Conservatives Fund is a sham. Now, come on. You know,
if you want to,
you know why?
Talk
He says that?
Republican infighting here.
Uh-huh.
This is where you need to go.
Yeah, let's get down to the real meat of it, because the Senate Conservatives Fund is drawing money away from the RNC. Now, you and I look at that and go, well, that's a good thing.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
of the people who listen to our show go, taking money away from Reince Priebus and the people that he picks, like John Boehner?
Taking
Oh,
money
good
away,
idea.
Taking money away from Republicans that have buckled at every turn.
The ones that represent the status quo and maybe making them sweat in a primary and have to actually stand up for principles.
The ones
Because even
who
if they
have-
win, even if they fight a tough primary, and the Tea Party candidate doesn't win, how could it be bad to take these Republicans that have been, well, let's just call them center-left, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we've made them have to shift to center-right and have to actually start voting,
Well, see, here's the scary part, though. Here's the scary part. I kind of think there's a little truth to what McConnell is saying. Because, sadly, McConnell does have a pretty comfortable lead so far over his Republican opponent, who is
yes,
a
but
Tea
it's-
Party-backed candidate. There are people in Kentucky that are going to put Mitch McConnell back in his seat because they're buying into this. And they seem to be forgetting that it was the Tea Party that caused that big sweep
in 2010.
in 2010.
Yeah.
If it hadn't have been for the Tea Party, the
If-
Democrats would still have their supermajorities. Mm-hmm. The Republicans would not have gotten the majority in the House. Man, we've only got to win, 7 seats? 6, 7 seats in the Senate to take it back?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got people like Mitch McConnell who are bashing the one group of people in this country that could get those seats. Now, I understand that this is an election and that he wants to win his primary. But is it really good for the country for them to be trashing the one group of people in this country that really do have, America's best interests at heart?
Well, or how about the people who are not apathetic?
Yeah.
See, 7 million Republicans stayed home in 2012 and didn't vote. The Tea Party and their conservative values, and by conservative, I'm not talking about the social conservatism, because that was not what the Tea Party was about. It was about the,
taxed enough already.
Deregulate, create jobs, free markets, small government.
But if he wins his primary, don't think for a minute that he won't be trying to suck up to those same Tea Party people that he's vowing to crush and referring to as insignificant. Don't think for a minute he won't be going after their money. That he won't be trying to get their votes.
Well, he wants it now because he's saying nasty things about the Senate Conservatives Fund.
That's no way to get the Tea Party to get behind you, dude.
No, I mean, and for him to be getting, to have some conservative pundits carrying his water for him.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the people that Ann Coulter picks to win the races, those are the ones. I mean, I've already decided. That's my bellwether right there.
Look, I have, I'm on record over the years as saying, Ann Coulter, that's my girl.
But not when it comes to election time, man.
No.
And her picks for
these past couple of years, she has been way off base.
Well, she may be right about who will win the Republican nomination, but she's dead wrong when she sits there and tells everybody to go and support that. Because
she was way off base about Christie, and to her credit, she at least had the fortitude to admit it.
But she starts talking.
But now she's aligning with Mitch McConnell,
and says that he's anti-amnesty for illegal immigrants. Ann, put the Kool-Aid down, girl.
Where's
put
the
it
evidence
down.
of that?
Thank you. She was well. At least him and Chris Christie were going about amnesty the right way. What?
What right way?
Yeah, see, there you go.
And where was all this intestinal fortitude when it came to getting behind Ted Cruz, when he was one of the few who actually lived up to his promises to fight Obamacare at every turn?
And to fight amnesty at every turn.
At every turn.
Because believe me, the citizens of Texas, definitely, that was one of the things they sent him to Congress to fight. So,
I'm sorry, Ann, but you're way off base on this.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love reading her columns.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, she's a really good conservative writer. But, man, when it comes to picking candidates, Ann, you are out of your mind.
Yeah.
If you get behind these people, you may be right about who will win, like Nate Silver. I mean, I hate it that he was right.
Yeah.
But he was right about who would win. You might be right about who's going to win, but you're dead wrong when it comes to analyzing their character.
And you're dead wrong about where you're putting your support.
Exactly.
If you're going to get behind people who are trying to marginalize the Tea Party, I'm sorry, but I can't co-sign on any of that. Well, dude, look, we got about 10 more minutes left on the clock, and we said we were probably going to be jetting out of here early.
Yeah, my voice
tonight.
is going.
Before we get off tonight, don't want to forget to remind everybody that if you look down below the player there, if you're listening to us via honestanswerradio.com, if you look right down below the player, there is a little yellow donate button. We've said it a million times. The cost of doing business here at The Honest Answer is going up. And if you like Honest Answer Radio and you wish to see us keep doing what we're doing, and you feel led to do so, please feel free to hit that little yellow button down there and give to your heart's content. Or you can go over there to our sponsors page. We have some really, really great sponsors here at Honest Answer Radio.
MyFreedomSmokes.com, V26.com, BaconFreak.com, Jelly Belly,
LifeLock,
MyFoodStorage.com. All of those quality sponsors.
And I got to say, our newest one, MyFreedomSmokes.com, you and I and Tina have been really, really successful, kicking the cigarette habit.
The tobacco habit.
Yeah. Thank you. The tobacco habit, the traditional cigarette habit. I don't know about you, but I am noticing a huge difference in the way I feel. I'm a little guy. I know you guys can't see me, but I'm a little guy. But since we really stopped smoking cigarettes in earnest, man, I'm eating like a pig. I'm actually starting to put weight on, which for me is a very healthy thing. My clothes don't stink anymore. My car doesn't stink anymore. I can smell things better. I taste things more. And My Freedom Smokes have helped us so much. Don't get me wrong, V2, they're another great sponsor.
Because, V2 guarantees all their hardware.
Yep, they stand behind it.
And look, I've still got V2 hardware. Okay,
yeah.
I still use it. But My Freedom Smokes offers you some other options in the batteries and the things that hold the liquid.
Like with V2 Cigs, they've got their cartridges already filled up and everything.
Yeah.
If you're looking for, maybe some things that V2 doesn't have, My Freedom Smokes, man, they got you covered on that.
Yeah, especially if you're a do-it-yourselfer like we are.
Yeah.
My Freedom Smokes basically has everything you need to go and build your own battery, your own little vaporizer, your atomizer, or to repair the one you've got or whatever.
At a very affordable cost.
They've got flavors. They've got everything over there. It's a great sponsor.
I'm really, really in love with them. And, with all of our sponsors, if you visit them and make use of their products, and you get there by going to them from our website, you get extra value, extra discount.
Right, because you go for it. Because that's why they're our sponsors. Because they'll give you a better deal by going through our page. We get paid, and you don't spend as much.
Well, like if you take My Freedom Smokes again. If you order $30. They no shipping, right? You don't have to pay any shipping. But in addition to that, by going there through Honest Answer Radio, dude, you get another 10% off.
So there's a deal there. Use our sponsors. But you know what? It's not only just good products that we've got on Honest Answer Radio. If you will hover your little mouse over to our channels page, you'll find that this political stuff that we talk about isn't the only thing available through us.
That's right. We got sports, man.
Sports World Radio with Jeff and Sean is the fastest hour of sports on the internet. Go there and get your sports fix. Jeff had kicked off the show at like 5 o'clock today instead of 6 o'clock. Oh, well, he must have been antsy.
Fired up, man.
He must have been antsy. Well, it's about to be baseball season, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and,
Talk about well-informed, though, man. Those guys have got their fingers on the pulse of sports. I mean, they are dead on the money. But we also have something for your heart. We have Challenge from the Heart with Pastor Rick Hope. Man, I have spent more time in the Bible, studying the Bible over the past couple of years than I have my entire life. And it's a direct result of my relationship with Pastor Rick Hope and his show, Challenge from the Heart.
Because everything that he talks about on his show has its roots in Scripture.
Yeah.
Everything that Rick says and everything that Rick believes is rooted on the most solid foundation that you can have your roots in.
And it's all relevant to things that are going on, every day, right here in all of our lives.
Down to how you deal with your own family, how you deal with your friends, how you deal with the world around you, how do you deal with work, how do you deal with going to church, how do you deal with all this. Pastor Rick has Scripture-based answers to all your questions, not to mention he's approachable.
Man, look, there's
you drop him a line in the chat and see if he responds.
There's a lot of misconceptions out there about Christians and Christianity today. And granted, a lot of that is a result of, we Christians have become our own worst enemy over the years. And Pastor Rick can set some of those misconceptions to rest.
Yeah, well, people tend to think of Christians as just being these judgmental,
stuffy,
people that won't associate with people that aren't Christians. Well, when you're talking about Pastor Rick, you're talking about somebody with a prison ministry.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody who doesn't just talk the talk. He walks the walk. He's also a volunteer fireman.
The things that like his the thing he's doing that Ask Pastor Rick.
You can ask him anything.
There's not a topic that he won't address and show you where you can find the answers in the Bible.
Goes right back to the roots.
Yeah. Challenge from the heart. Do yourself a favor, man. Fill that hole in your heart and let Pastor Rick show you how. Another really good friend of the show, Going Beyond Radio.
Yeah, because you can go to honestanswerradio.com. Most people are probably listening to us through there. But you can also catch us on Going Beyond Radio. But that's not all. They've got a lot more than just Honest Answer over there. They've got paranormal shows.
Sports and spirituality. But, dude, they got so much. Going Beyond Radio's got like everything else under the sun there
they've
covered.
Got spirituality. They've got some paranormal stuff. They've got science and technology.
They've got some progressives on there. I mean, if that's your thing and you need your progressivism fix, man, they can hook you up.
And you can find them on so many different platforms, man. GoingBeyondRadio.com is on Live 365. They're on Shoutcast. They're on iTunes. They're on Roku. They're on Blueberry. I mean, they're tuned in.
You cannot look at an internet radio outlet and not find Going Beyond Radio on there somewhere. They're plugged in, dude.
Yes. So if you've got a mobile phone, you can get GoingBeyondRadio.com on all those platforms.
And they also, the best part is, they also carry Honest Answer Radio.
That is the best part. We like that part.
We count ourselves lucky to be in their little world, man.
But go by there, drop them a line, tell them that Casey and Marty sent you.
And tell them we said, hey, what's up?
Tell them we said, how's it, Mom and them?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I really hate to say this, dude, but we are at the end of our rainbow, and as always, I want to leave everybody with something to think about, and it's the same thing I tell them every week, but I'm going to do it again. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. awesome words to give us all a little bit of hope.
Amen.
So until Thursday, guys, I guess we'll see you later.
Good night,
Bid you a
y'all.
good evening. Be good to each other, people. Please.
Love